everyone, I'm Vana from TBR Trio, and in this episode of Tales in Focus, we are at the Bibelo Pub in Roanoke, Virginia. Today, we're sitting down with Amber Thoma, a fantasy and dark romance author whose writing spans from magical fae kingdoms to intense dark romance. Readers are immersed into a complex fae world with her Realms of Lore Fae series, and then are challenged with morally gray love stories in her Fate of Her series. Before we dive in, please note that the books we'll be talking about today contain mature and potentially triggering themes. We encourage our viewers to always read the content warnings and trigger warnings before reading and or listening. Last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our future author interviews and other bookish events.
Hello everyone, Via here. I just wanted to pop in here and let you guys know that the Biblio Pub was open during this interview. So you may hear some background noise. I did my best to remove it, but every now and then you might hear something. So bear with us and enjoy the interview.
Now, please join me in welcoming Amber Thoma. Amber, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We are so excited to talk about you and your books and your life and all of it. We're so excited. But before we jump into the good stuff that is your books, I have a couple icebreakers just to kind of loosen you up a little bit.
Perfect.
So if you can swap lives with any character you've written for a day, who would it be and why?
That's hard. Probably Kess.
I love Kes.
Just because he's funny and he, always has a good time and he has wings. And who doesn't want to fly?
That is true. That is true. We should have wings. That's like one thing that I wish we had.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest thing you've Googled or researched about yourself?
Oh, for sure. It was when I was writing Prince of Darkness. I had to Google what happens to a body when they implode.
What?
Yeah.
When they implode? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Implode and explode. So I had to figure out. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
if anybody ever checks my Google.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
FBI, this is.
No, we joke my author group, we joke more our NSA agent is really feeling us right now.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that FBI agent behind your computer,
Yeah.
They're invested in this. All right, what is the craziest or unhinged thing on your bucket list that does not have to do with writing?
That doesn't have to do with writing.
Or can be if you can't think of anything.
I don't know. I've always traveled a lot, so that's off my bucket. Well, not really. It's never off the bucket list, But I can't really think of anything particular. My whole life is basically writing right now.
So skydiving is not. On the list.
I will never do that. If a plane's going down and I need to jump out, sure, but I'm not willingly jumping out of
volunteering
the plane. Yeah, and I heard it hurts. The
wind.
Yeah. I'm just no thanks.
I'm right there with you. I like my feet firmly planted on the ground.
Right.
All right, awesome. So let's jump into your life and your inspiration. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start writing.
For Prince of Darkness, it was my very first book, and it was I don't know. Do you know NaNoWriMo?
I don't.
Okay, so it's November, the whole month of November, the goal is to write 50,000 words, right? And I have an entire Google folder of dead, ideas and 10,000 word manuscripts and such that I just gave up on. And my friend who was, I'm a hairstylist as well. And she's been a client of mine for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. She's an author as well. And she was like, just write it, just do it. And so I was doing my disassociating and reading everything, but I couldn't find the book I wanted to read. So I was like, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to write it. So, because at the time it was 2023 and, fae was super popular. And, but I like fae to look fae and not human. So I read it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's your first book. Prince of Darkness is your first one. And I love the description of the fae. It's not what you said, not what you typically read.
Yeah.
Right? It's a different take on fae. I feel like
it's more traditional.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more traditional and less oh my God, six pack and
Yeah. Yeah. It's less ACOTAR and more Cruel Prince.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So how do you write your books? Are you a
Oh my God.
plotter?
It has changed dramatically. So Prince of Darkness, I sat down, wrote it straight through in 18 days, right?
18 days.
Yeah, I didn't plan anything. I just kind of knew what I wanted to do. And it was originally supposed to be a duology.
Okay.
That obviously didn't work out. Um, but after that, like I realized, especially with a series, like you can't just go in and just start writing. And so like I had to write the novella that came next to kind of tie things into where I needed it to go. And, from there, plan everything. Now I am like a super plotter. I have like a routine, right? So I do like a basic outline first.
Mhm.
And then I go back in and I do a very detailed outline. They tend to be like 40,000 word
Mhm.
outlines. And then from there, it's just easy getting prose in.
That's
So
awesome.
by the time I get to writing prose, it's like I have like 3-4 weeks of writing and then it's done.
That's well, you wrote a book in 18 days. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so do you ever I don't know if you do, but like do you ever get into like a writing slump?
Oh,
Like
yeah, all the time. So when I went from, especially like depending on feedback you get, so like Prince of Darkness, first book, right? It's my baby. I put it out, and you have to have thick skin, right? And honestly, authors should never read their reviews. They should, it's for the readers, not the authors. But I did read them, and it was good because I got some feedback and I was growing. It was my first one, so I needed to learn. So that kind of put me on like a little block for a little while because I was like, am I good enough? A little imposter
Mhm.
syndrome thing happening. And then my friend Rebecca Sinclair, she was like, so I was halfway through Queen of Light, and I just couldn't keep going. And she was like, you want to race? And I was like, yeah. So we started doing sprints, and then from there we started doing TikTok live sprints. And that's how we got our whole like distracted inklings group. And we used to just get on TikTok all the time and do 30-minute sprints, and then we would check in and talk, and then we would go right back into sprints. So
That's awesome. So
yeah.
how many on average would you say words would you write in these 30-minute sprints?
Oh, the most I ever did was 1,200 words.
Wow, in 30 minutes.
Hmm.
So your brain is always just like
Hmm.
going, going, going. That's amazing.
Well, especially like a few like sprints in, when you really know, like you get into a flow. And
Mhm.
so yeah.
Wow,
But it's funny because they don't work for me anymore.
really?
Hmm.
So what do you do now?
Well, now I just, because if I do a sprint, by the time it's over is when I'm starting to like kick in.
Mhm.
So now I just sit down and write.
You just write whenever an
Hmm.
idea comes to mind and you just
I just,
write.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have to just kind of go through it. But if I found that like if I'm like on, then I could do sprints
Mhm.
because my brain is just ready.
Mhm.
But if like right now I'm having to force myself, which everybody has to do at some point, and so it's a little bit slower getting into, so I can't really do sprints anymore for right now.
So when you say you're like forcing yourself, how do you find like enjoyment in that? Like, because I know forcing yourself, you're like pushing yourself to write even when
Mhm.
you're not really feeling like motivated. So
Well, like the story's always there.
okay,
It doesn't leave my head until it's
on paper.
on paper.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's just always there and you want to get it out anyway. It's just like the sitting down, make myself like type it out and do all that. And it's so funny because like every stage I'm like right before I get to it, I'm like, oh, that's my favorite stage. And then I get to it, and I'm like, damn it, and then the next stage comes and I'm like, oh yeah. And then but by the time it's all the way over, I'm just like, that was great. It was a good time. Yeah.
Do you write it like in order, or do you have like a scene in your head and you're like, I have to get this down on
So it
paper?
depends, right? So like for my series, the Prince of Darkness series, because they're not interconnected, right? It's just like straight through series. I had scenes in my head for the very end, right after I wrote the first book, and so I wrote those out so I didn't forget them, and I just have them like in the outline, ready to go. So
Awesome. Well, that's sometimes it's hard. You gotta like change it up, and I because you wrote Prince of Darkness so long ago, and
mhm.
I feel like you've learned about yourself
Oh my god,
along the
yeah.
way, so you have to always adapt.
One of my favorite things that a reader told me was that they've really enjoyed reading the series, the Prince of Darkness series, because like from the first one to like Court of Whispers, which was the latest one out, they've been able to watch my growth as an author, and I just thought that was like a really cool compliment to
I
have.
love that. So
Yeah.
like the characters are growing, but like the
Mhm.
author's also
Right,
growing. I
right.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love
So
that. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's
I thought that
great.
was a great.
Based on your experience, because you're an indie published author,
Mhm.
so what have you, based on your experience, seen that's been like the most rewarding? And then on the other hand, maybe some things you didn't expect.
Oh my gosh, marketing is the worst. The absolute worst. It is so hard. My brain does not like I can't do all the things at once. Some people can. I can't. So like I'm either marketing or I'm writing. So right now my all my social medias are super quiet because I'm writing, and then like all of a sudden I'll post like every day, and so marketing is probably the absolute worst, but the most rewarding is definitely the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard, right? To like
Mhm.
because when you're self-published, you're doing everything yourself.
Oh yeah.
So you're marketing, you're promoting, you're doing the
You're
edits, you're
writing,
doing
you're editing, you're formatting
yeah.
the covers. I mean, I learned how to do covers even
Yeah.
because like The thing that people I think don't realize is that it is expensive. It is very expensive. Like for my first book, I spent a lot of money and I did not get it back. So you have to it was a learning experience. So then I started doing everything myself, and now I can do a book for free, basically.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, now you're with all these skills, you're a woman of many talents,
Yeah.
you know how to do everything.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your covers
Okay.
because I'm obsessed, first of all,
Me
love
too.
them. So talk to us a little bit about how you got inspiration for the titles of your books
Mhm.
and the covers.
So the main character in Prince of Darkness, well, one of the main characters, because there's four, right? But his name is Kieran, and if you Google it, his name means Prince of Darkness.
Does it really?
Mhm.
That's awesome.
So then from there, I wanted the covers to kind of coordinate, so they needed to be the same amount of words and everything. So I had Prince, so I was like, okay, let's do Queen,
Mhm,
and then Court,
mhm.
and then I'll go ahead and tell you the last one is titled Realm of Rot. So it goes from
Ooh,
Prince, Queen, Court, and then Realm.
you heard it here. Realm is the most newest book. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for that little
Yeah.
that little sneak peek. So what about Until the Shadows Claim Her? Because that's your dark romance.
Yeah.
Right.
So by this point, I have started doing a lot of research, marketing research,
Mhm.
So it's more of what is expected in the genre. And right now it's very dark covers with florals and things like that. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I will say, as a dark romance girly, yes. Second of all, I love florally things.
Same.
So
Same.
I love the combo.
I have a really hard time with people on covers.
Mhm.
So
I feel like they're less popular though. Like I feel
it
like
depends on the genre.
right.
So this was another I have a shifter series I'm gonna do, and you have to have people on it. It's
Really?
an expectation, and it has to have this glow, a colored glow to it.
Oh.
So yeah, it's super weird, the things you find out. So fantasy, for example, there's usually an object.
Mhm,
Dark
mhm,
romance, it's a lot of floral,
mhm.
so
Interesting.
mhm.
I see. I didn't even know that. I
And
just learned something new.
the mafia books and the billionaire romances and stuff, again, people on it.
That makes sense,
Mhm.
actually. I'm like thinking about certain like dark romance mafias. It's like a man usually
Yeah.
on the cover.
Yeah.
That's
The romance books in general too.
yeah,
But
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Unless it's contemporary.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. The contemporaries are usually the cartoonish, right?
Yeah, so
More
you either have the
animated.
cartoonish or you have the it's another floral kind of thing, but it's usually a bright color. Whereas these are dark. Because again, dark romance.
Which we love, which we
Yeah.
love. Let's talk about Prince of Darkness since it is your first series. What inspired you to write fantasy? Like
Oh,
what?
I'm a fantasy girly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
through and through.
Yes. My
That-
whole life.
That's awesome.
Love it.
I love
Um,
that.
always love fantasy. Romantasy is my jam. So it's you write what you know, especially for your first one. And so that's what I did.
Do you feel that fantasy has allowed you to tap into like certain topics that maybe other genres don't allow you to do?
Yes. Well, I think you can tap into anything in any genre, but I do feel especially in fantasy or romantasy even, there's almost an expectation of social issues that plague us all kind of thing. And then maybe mental health issues even, because usually there's the chosen one, and that's its own issue,
Mhm.
So I definitely put a lot of my own personal things into the series. I told you earlier that it's I worked through a lot of my own
Yeah.
things in
Yeah.
this series. So
So it's helped you definitely to like kind of channel it into the book and
yeah, for
that's
sure.
awesome.
For
That's
sure.
love that.
And then my best friend's a psychologist. So sometimes there's it's definitely mental health rep heavy, right? And so I'm am I hitting this right? Did I get the did I do it well, or so she checks it for me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Through it. Tell us about it. How did you decide like the world building, the structure of the magic
So
system?
again, I sat down and I wrote Prince of Darkness straight through, right? So it just kind of happened as it happened. But I've always liked because traditionally there's either this Seelie, Unseelie, night, day, summer, winter, always opposites of traditionally in the court. But I knew I also wanted to have witches in it. So that's why I made the borderlands so in the middle, so the witches rule there, and so I just knew that's all I knew really to start, and that it was always going to be night in the night court and always day in the day court, but there's still shifting and everything of light and everything. So that was all I knew.
I did notice like in there I think there was a part where they were like, oh, so like how do people tell time here? And they're like,
They
we
don't.
don't. It's
Yeah.
just whenever we feel like it, we just go to bed. I'm like, this is a really nice court to live in. Like
Yeah.
I wish.
Well, and if you think about it, like if you're hundreds of years old,
Mhm.
you don't care about time.
That is true.
And especially if you're like royalty, you're like, I'll get there when I get there.
You're like,
Yeah.
they'll wait for me. It's fine.
And then things just started filtering and like the many faced goddess, right, that I have in there, Hecate, she the reason why her face shifts is because every witch that dies goes and lives within her. So she gives like that witch another chance to have like a second of life.
So the many-faced goddess is like a tangible being, so to
Mhm,
speak, right?
mhm.
That's so usually they like in fantasy books you talk about like a god or like gods,
Mhm.
but they're just like they're intangible. They're just like ideas. They're like these
Yeah.
higher powers. So
So I would say like fate is like the higher power
okay.
in this one.
Mhm.
And because fate gets what fate wants kind of thing.
Mhm.
Whereas like the gods are like more like influential, like they can help change fate maybe.
Mhm.
She's a god, but she's also the mother of witches because Hecate. And so that's why they all come to live back in with her.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that twist. That's so beautiful. You wrote this book in 18 days. We have to reiterate that. 18 days is wild. Yeah, it's so impressive.
I don't
But
recommend it.
you probably did not sleep at all.
Oh, I don't do that anyway. So
Oh my gosh. It's the coffee, right? You just
no, I literally have insomnia.
do you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that explains like why you're just always writing. You're like,
Yeah.
well, if I can't sleep,
Yeah.
might as well write, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, and like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and I've always been like a night person, right? So
Hence
my
the night
brain
court.
really turns on at like 8 p.m. And so I will write from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m.
So you're like the night court. You're like, well,
100%.
we'll just do time. It's just a construct. It's whatever.
Yeah, I really like now I'm lucky enough that like I have a family that's able to support me so I can do this full time, right? And so my schedule is my schedule, right? Whatever I want it to be.
Mhm.
And God, thank God, because like functioning before noon for me is like I just don't. It's so weird.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Functioning before noon is hard.
Right. But some people like they're up at like 6 a.m. and that is their jam. And I do wish I could be that person, but I'm just not. So
Props to those people that are morning
100%.
people.
Yeah. But you know
So-
what's even funnier? Sorry, this is
Yeah,
solely
no,
a
keep
side
going, yeah,
tangent.
keep going, yeah. Yeah, we love this.
What's even funnier is that like I've noticed, how some people get like seasonal depression in like winter.
Mhm.
I don't. I get it in summer. So I think I like night better than
So you're like, well, that does make sense because
Yeah.
in the winter it
it gets dark.
darker
Uh-huh.
fast.
Like, biologically we need the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Not me.
I'm apparently a vampire. So
me,
it's fine.
me too. Me too. You know, my husband has to drag me out of the house because I'm like, I'll just stay in my
God.
little in my house. I keep it nice and dark and
Yeah.
cool. And
Yeah.
he's like, you're not like a gremlin. Like get out, like leave. And
Oh my God.
So I get
hate
it.
leaving my house.
I get it. I totally get it. But I do want to ask you, like,
Mhm.
how do you? So when you were writing this book, did like the characters come to you first? Because I know you wrote it in 18 days. So like, I need to know what your process was in that.
I would say that like Etane and Kieran came to me first.
Okay.
And Anin and Cass happened on accident.
Oh.
So I told you I rewrote it in like
Mhm.
a few months after it published. And I went back and I added a whole lot of Cass and Anin because they wound up being my favorite. So, and that was just completely like accidental. It didn't mean for it to happen. But
That's hilarious.
yeah.
But I feel like they were
They-
like needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, for
Mhm.
sure. And then it's multi POV. I was just gonna keep it with like the main characters, but then I added them in, and then they became main characters. But then like each book, I started adding even more POVs, and
Mhm.
so
Well, I was gonna say, like, so how does your books develop? Does it follow these 4 characters throughout
through the whole
series?
thing. But so they are the main.
Okay.
I call them the core 4.
Mhm.
They change pretty like they have a huge character. Well, some of them have massive character arcs, but like the secondary characters, they kind of become even more important
Mhm.
as the story grows because Prince of Darkness, it starts in just the night court. It's just this one little area, but by the time you get to Court of Whispers, it's the entire thing. So you need the more point of views because like I'm a nosy bitch and I want to know everything that's happening. So that's why it's third person and multi POV. You need more characters if the world's going to get bigger.
Of course.
So
Yeah. And I love that like each book, like it gets like the world expands. So
Yeah.
we kind of get to know a different part of the realm
But you don't want the whole world thrown at you in the first book.
yeah,
That's
no,
too
that's a
much world
lot.
building. No,
Yeah.
I can't stand world building when it's like almost bullet pointed at
It's like an
you.
info dump. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's too
no,
much.
like as it's happening, tell me
Yeah.
because otherwise I'm not going to remember it anyway.
But I think that's also like, and it's what I really like when authors do is like when they, and I noticed it in this book, when it's dialogue, like you're like maybe, for example, like Etane, she's in the human realm, and then Kieran is telling her like things about like the realm, but in dialogue. So we're learning and
Yeah,
she's
she's
learning.
learning.
So it's kind of
Exactly.
like hidden and it's subtle. I know you already spoke about how like the Fae is different in this different from the typical
But have you
human.
noticed recently it's kind of changing that way? Like
It
if
has
Fae
been
books are kind of like going away from like that perfect human into more
the
otherworldly.
yeah, I think that's awesome.
I do
And I
too.
it does give us like a fresh perspective, right? Because it's in fantasy, it's not always, but it's typically like the same storyline, right? It's
Oh,
like the chosen one and
yeah. I mean, we all say that like there's no new ideas really anymore. It's just like your take on it is what makes it new.
exactly,
Yeah.
right. So how does your book, other than like the Fae
Mhm.
aspect, how did you bring it like a fresh light, essentially?
I would definitely say that like the themes
Mhm.
aren't typically involved. Like I said, it's very heavy with like mental health rep and everything.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, when I wrote Prince of Darkness, the reason why I was able to sit down and do it is because I like finally went to the doctor, got on medication, and started treating, my mental health like I should have been like an adult, but I don't adult well. So, but then all of a sudden, here I was able to sit down and crank it out and like work through my own things. So I
That's
think that and just like there's hidden nuggets in. So this is actually going to be I think it's a 5 series saga. So
that is including the novellas or not?
I mean, this is its own series,
Yeah.
but the 5 series in a saga. So like each series is interconnected. So
Oh.
there's nuggets within all of
Similar
them.
to like the Massverse type of thing,
Kind
right?
of,
Like
yeah.
Sarah J. Mass.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. So it's gonna take me like 30 years, but
I mean, listen, you wrote 18 books, 18 days.
yeah.
So I don't know. How long did it take you to write the other ones?
Well, here's like the novellas I write very quickly.
Yeah.
Like usually it does done a couple weeks. I mean, like written, edited, and formatted within a few weeks.
That's
Um,
amazing.
Queen of Light, I hit a block halfway through. So that one took me a little longer. But Court of Whispers, it was like a month I wrote it. I wrote it in like 30 days, I think.
Mhm.
So I typically do write pretty quickly, but now I do a lot more like plotting and planning. So
Well, let's talk a little bit about Etane, Kieran, and then Kes and Anin. So you said that Kes and Anin were accidental.
totally.
So their story and Kieran and Etane's story are a little bit different.
Uh-huh.
So what was your goal in showing like both relationships develop?
So Kieran and Attain, Kieran, I call him morally black. He has zero morals.
There's no gray.
There is no, like, he does not care. But she is highly, like, she is like on that high moral ground, right? So she, like, because he wants her, he will appease her kind of thing. So I thought that was a fun, like, he has to put the effort in. And she doesn't let him get away with it either, which is pretty great. So like you see her go from this like, meek, like new to this world, like, and then throughout the book she becomes the queen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which I think is super fun. And then Katz was put in for like, I always like comedic relief in all my books.
He's that funny sidekick.
Totally. But then like that first interaction with him in an inn when she's in the cage and she calls him a feather duster, like that like was fan favorite right there. So I was like, yeah, I need to go back and focus on them. So they're more like the enemies to lovers because she's day court, he's night court. They don't get along, but they're mated. So they get along, eventually. But then like Kieran and Attain, they're not enemies to lovers. So
I love that. Yeah, I love like the fated mates, the forced proximity. It's
Yeah.
just, oh, it's delicious. I love it. Through the series, you're working on the last one, correct? The last book.
it's plotted.
It's plotted. How long did it take you to plot?
Not very long. And I can put the plot down in the day.
For the whole book.
Yeah, but it's very basic.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking maybe 2 pages of like concepts and put in order. And then from there, I go and I break it down into chapters and then break it down into
So how do you
parts.
come up with the like the plot twist? Like do you, because you say you're a plotter, so do you
Mhm.
have like each book written and then you're like, okay, the plot twist in this book is gonna happen, and then like how does it how do you
Sometimes they just kind of happen. Like I'll be a lot of times. So like again, I take it as like a suggestion because sometimes things have to change. Um, it's better to go with the organic vibe than force something. So sometimes things just kind of come up. There's a couple from the day court, and they just kind of accidentally happened, and like they become very important. So that wasn't planned, but like the big ending has been I've known it from the beginning. So, but everything else I just kind of decided. Queen of Light, Tatiana, right? She's like the villain. I didn't know where I was going to take her, but she's my favorite character.
really?
Mhm.
Okay, because you have told me about Tatiana and how we're gonna hate her and then we're gonna
Yeah.
try to like her and then
No,
we're
you
gonna
hate her in Queen of Light. By the end of Queen of Light, you were like, nope. She does some really, really bad things, and then you
I'm
read.
nervous.
Yeah, no, it's like there's a scene that I wrote that like, and I'm not a crier, but I was like bawling writing it. So yeah, but then you read Shadows of Light, which is her a backstory, and then you're like, it's very hard to hate her after that because it's like you get compassion for her. You don't forgive her necessarily, but it's hard to hate when you can like understand
Yeah,
somebody.
you're like, oh, I get it, but I don't want to get it because I want to hate you so
Right,
bad.
right. Which is kind of another theme I wanted to like throw in because it's like it's almost like perspective, right? So like people are bad, but like are they? Or like could they have been different?
It's not black and white, right?
Never.
People
Yeah.
have, it could be like the, what is it? What is that saying?
Nurture versus nature.
Yes, but I was thinking something of they did the right thing for the wrong reason
Oh
or something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So,
Well, there's definitely like a massive amount of nurture versus nature
mhm.
in all my characters.
Mhm.
So that was a fun little study to do. But yeah, Tatiana definitely became my favorite. And by the end of the book, you're gonna like by the end of the series, you'll be like,
Fine.
my poor girl.
Yeah.
My friend Rebecca calls her child, her daughter.
Does she
Yeah.
really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So the last book, do you have like a timeline? Because you said you plotted it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So Prince of Darkness came out March of 2023, and Realm of Rot will come out in March of 2026. So yeah.
so excited. So you guys, March 2026. Keep that in your calendars. But there's no date specifically set, right?
You know what? It's funny because I actually forget the exact day
Okay.
that Prince of Darkness. It might have been the 27th or something.
Okay.
But it's gonna be the exact same day that Prince of Darkness released. So
Awesome.
I just feel like that's like
I love it. It's like the first book and the last book,
Yeah.
and it lines up full circle moment.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. So that, and after that's it's completed, right? That's it
Mhm.
for that.
Yep. And then there's the next series and yeah.
In that world.
No, the Fey world is its own world.
Okay.
So it's the realms of lore.
Yeah.
So there's multiple realms,
Mhm.
and like it like the many-faced goddess, she talks about it, right? Like she's been to multiple different ones and everything. There's other things out there.
Okay, there's other things out there. We'll keep that in mind. So Prince of Darkness has what the audiobook for the first book, and it's so it was Gabriel Michael
Uh-huh.
and Suzanne T. Fortin. Um, do you expect the other books to also have audios, and will they be the narrators?
Yes, and the Heirs of Darkness, Queen of Light, and Shadows of Light are already recorded and done. But I'm saving them to use them as like promo for the final book. And eventually I will get to the last two books. But talk about expensive.
Yeah, especially because there's two. It's like
Yeah,
female, yeah.
but like it's almost expected for fantasy.
Mhm.
To have that like dual narration, but they do such a great job of giving each character their own vibe. And literal props to Suzanne because like originally, so you can Amazon will let you like share profit with a narrator, so you don't have to come out of pocket for it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But then you have to sign a really long contract with Amazon.
Oh.
And yeah. So originally that's what I was going to do because I was like, whatever, just get the audiobook out there. And Suzanne was going to do all of it. And then I was like, Suzanne, should we like stop this and like, do dual narration? She was like, absolutely. So we paused, and it was like a year later that I finally got to it. And girlfriend like stayed with me the whole time.
And she's gonna do the last book.
Mhm,
That's awesome.
And she like talks me through all of the things, and she's they're both wonderful human beings. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
As a audiobook girly
Uh-huh.
myself, I can confirm I love the dual narration.
Yeah.
It just I don't know, it just brings the characters like I love like a single narrator book. I accept it.
Yeah.
I happily read it, but I feel that like if it's a man and a woman, they do it so well and it's like it's a movie in your head. And
Yeah.
I just love that.
Well, by the time you get to like Queen of Light, for example, like there's so many point of views, that like one person trying to do all of those,
Mhm.
it would
It's hard.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of right because it's multi POV. So
yeah.
that's hard.
I mean, I think Court of Whispers has like 9 POVs or something
Mhm.
ridiculous. So
9.
yeah, I think so.
Very good.
Would be
You're pulling like a Kingdom of Ash on
well, and that's kind of the thought process was like 'cause Throne of Glass is my absolute favorite, and you know it starts as this. It's a simple story to start, right? And then it morphs into this full map, this full world, this
Mhm.
you know epic story, and you have all these different point of views and these characters, and like my favorite characters aren't even the main characters, you know,
Yeah.
and I've always loved that, and I feel like a lot of times fantasy is like that,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like my favorite part about it.
I
So,
love that.
yeah.
Well, I know I definitely want to talk about your other series.
Mhm.
We're shifting completely. It's not
Yes.
fantasy, it's dark romance.
It is dark romance.
And like I said, as a dark romance girly, I'm here for
Yeah.
it. Your first book was amazing.
Thank you.
So tell me, what made you want to write dark romance?
It sells.
That's a good answer. That's
No,
a good answer.
legitimately, fantasy is hard because it's a very like specific group. And you know, fantasy readers are harder to please, I'll even say. But like dark romance girlies, you just give them X amount of things and you're solid.
I
You
can
know?
confirm.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. And so as long as you got a good story and everything, so and it is the number one selling. Like romance is by far the number one selling genre of all books. But then like the subgenre, dark psychological romance is the number one.
Mhm.
So I was like, all right, let's go.
And what is like is there any like what is the hardest part about writing dark romance? Have you experienced anything that's like kind of challenging when it comes to it?
Sometimes I think I have a hard time taking it far enough
Okay.
because like you have to take it pretty, you know, like people it's dark, so it needs to be dark, right? So sometimes I worry about that. But then I learned take it too far, it's easier to back up than it is to push even more further. So
Yeah.
that's what I do now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, dark romance in general, there is a lot of, taboo topics,
Totally.
darker topics that are very triggering to some people.
Mhm.
So but at the end of the day, there's usually like a deeper message. Like it's not just like, oh, like we just wrote it because we like crazy topics. You know what I mean? So in your books personally, what would you say is the message that you're trying to give readers?
I would say the first one is definitely like Celeste was the message where, you know, she starts as she's, you know, escaping a religious cult kind of thing. And so she's been, you know, brainwashed her whole life to do this. And then by the end, she's totally like come into herself. She's like empowered and stands on her own. And like, it's definitely, there's a lot of like feminine power in that one. You know, but there's a lot of like misogyny and everything. So, and she's like fights back against it. And then the second one is definitely more like I feel like I can't really say anything without giving things away. So, but it's definitely it's different. It's more of a accepting, I guess, of past.
We'll take that.
Yeah,
We'll take that.
I'm trying to like think because like I don't want to give anything away. So,
And the third book, because it's gonna be a three book series, right?
oh,
Oh, it's gonna be more.
this is like the first volume.
Oh.
So again, I was doing market research, and dark psychological romance is one, masked men specifically. So all of the volume 1 is all masked men,
Okay.
and then volume 2 is mafia, but they're interconnected still.
Girl, just take my credit
Yeah.
card. Just take it.
And then there's a volume 3 for sure. So there's definitely 3 volumes. So was that 9 books? Yeah, I could do math.
Yeah.
So definitely 9 books, and I think the third one is going to be more like I haven't really decided quite yet, but there's like an overarching story and all of it. Now I have the option to go 9, 12, or 30.
Is it gonna be 30?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
We'll see because like I feel like by the time I get to the last one, I'll know. Like the last volume, I'll know. I'll probably be over it, honestly, but
I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, right?
I do know like the, the basics of the first 3 volumes. So
Okay, all right. What do you think that like dark romance in general, or even your book specifically, what do they tell us about human connection that maybe contemporary romance doesn't quite touch on?
well, I think everybody like has gone through something
Mhm.
in their life, and sometimes contemporary, like I'm not knocking it at all, but like it can be too perfect.
It's all
Where
fun, sunshines and rainbows.
yeah, and not always. Like sometimes it's like it's brutal sometimes too, you know. With dark romance, there's like it's almost like helping people like normalize things, I think.
Mhm.
And not that we want to really do anything that's in these books, you know, but it just kind of helps you like I don't know about like what it says about human connection, but definitely I think it helps people normalize anything that might have happened with them or you know, it just feels almost more real
Yeah,
sometimes because the world is not
like relatable, and it
yeah.
talks about the topics that maybe some people don't. It's hard because dark romance has such like this, oh my god, it's all smut type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel that what people don't, or they maybe they do realize, but it talks about real topics because the
Yes.
world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. And
Right.
I feel like dark romance authors have like the courage to
Mhm.
put it on paper and say, hey, these are real situations.
When I feel like there's always like the characters are very flawed.
Yeah.
Typically, all of the characters are very flawed,
Mhm.
and they don't magically change.
Mhm.
They stay who they are, but like there's acceptance from the other flawed people,
Yeah.
and I think everybody knows that we are all flawed,
Yeah.
and so I think that's like another like
It's human representation,
yeah
right? Because we're not black and white.
no
We're all flawed in our own ways, and
totally
we're all light and dark, and
Mhm.
so I love dark
we're
romance.
grayscale.
Yes, we're very great, and that's where the morally gray comes
Yep,
from.
yep. So
So earlier you were saying that like when it comes to like your boundaries, you find it easier to push all the way and then kind of reel yourself back in.
mhm.
So where does that line stop
There are
for
certain
you?
things that I will never have like explicitly on page.
Mhm.
Comfort level for myself. I don't knock it if people do. I will never do underage. Never. That is a big can't do it.
Mhm.
But other than that, that's kind of it.
Everything
So
else is on the table.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. But like if there's like assault basically, then it's not explicitly on page. It's more of like you understand what's happening, without being
Directly in
yeah.
your face. Yeah, that makes sense. This is a question that I'm dying to hear your perspective on. So we know our morally gray characters, typically the male in dark romance, they usually take the road less traveled, right?
Mhm.
So in terms of like a fantasy book, the hero will sacrifice himself for the good of the world.
Mhm.
But we know in our dark romance books that the morally gray man will sacrifice
The
the
world.
world
Mhm.
for his girl or whatever.
Mhm.
So at what point do you take like their actions and say, hey, like this is the wrong thing for the right reason versus when it becomes okay, like this is becoming really toxic.
I don't really know. I feel like I don't I try to stay away from like the toxic part and keep it more like flawed individuals understanding other flawed individuals
Mhm.
and like fulfilling a need that that other person has that maybe nobody else could handle.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's an answer or not.
Yeah, no, no,
Okay.
it is. No, it's just more so because like some people, like maybe someone that doesn't typically read dark romance, they're
Uh-huh.
like, this guy's acting really toxic.
Oh yeah.
But it's like he's not, like
Mhm.
he had maybe like it's the road less traveled, right? It's
Yeah.
literally like you wouldn't do this, but someone
Somebody
might.
might have already.
Mhm.
Again, it's like that whole there's a spectrum for
Yeah,
everything,
exactly.
you
Yes.
know? So you might stay over here, but somebody else is over here.
Mhm.
And again, it's about like flawed individuals meeting the needs of other flawed
Yeah.
individuals. So
It's like, hey, like me and you, we both have our problems, but
mhm.
we'll get through it together. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And I think dark romance girlies specifically want that like they want that person
Yeah.
who is willing to like sacrifice everything for them.
Yeah.
They just want to feel like they are
Yeah.
the number one
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah. And
You know?
I wholeheartedly agree with that because I know in fantasy it's nice, like the hero's so selfless and it's like, I'll sacrifice myself for you.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I don't want you to sacrifice yourself. I want you to sacrifice whatever you have to do to make sure we're good.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I know it's very, it might sound so very selfish, but I don't know. I think that's
But
just,
and I think there's like levels too, right? So like the burning the world down could be more like the character knows that their person that they like their person, right, wants a certain thing. It goes against everything that they want, but that's their version of burning the world down. It was like doing that thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I love it, and I love the idea of dark romance. And like I said, I love all of this.
well,
So
this is also dark.
it's also
romance.
dark,
Yeah.
yes, but it has the fantasy aspect to it.
Yes.
So
And it's definitely not the same level.
it's definitely not the same level. I can confirm that.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, you have in looking at your books as a whole and your writing journey in general, what has writing taught you about yourself?
Oh gosh.
It wasn't supposed to be like a stressful
Yeah.
question.
No, it's not really stressful. It's just like it. You know what it taught me is that I can do anything. Um, I've always been the kind of person that will start a project and never finish it. High ADHD. That was kind of like the big like when I finished Prince of Darkness, I was like, I can actually do this. Like I actually wrote a book. I did it. No other book will feel like your first one. That accomplishment, that like holding it for the first time in your hand, like I did this,
Yeah.
you know. So I think that that's what it taught me is that like I can do it. I can if I want to enough. I can do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure once you finished your first book, you were like, I can keep this going.
But yeah, and like once you know you can do it, then
Nothing
it's easy.
stops you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I have what is this like 4, 5, so 7, 8, 9, and then I have another pen name. So I've written 9 books in 2.5 years.
That's
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
And the books are good.
Thank
Like
you.
the books are, I can confirm the books are good. Oh, awesome. Well, 9 books. What's next for you? Because I know you have 6 tabs open in your mind.
Oh my
So
gosh.
tell us.
I definitely have 4 books I'm working on right now because like again, sometimes I'm on and I'm like focused on one thing and can write it, straight through, but then sometimes it's just ideas and so then I have to do like the plotting and the conceptualizing and everything like that.
Mhm.
So I have 4 books currently plotted and I was supposed to be writing the third one of this. It was supposed to come out by the end of the month. It's not happening. I haven't written it yet. Who knows? probably like fall. It'd be a good October one, honestly.
I think you deserve a break after
Thanks.
9 books.
Well, there's never a break. There's no breaks. I am currently working on something that I actually haven't shared with really anybody. It just kind of happened.
Will you share it with us?
Yes. It's called
Love a breaking news.
it's called Dressed in Death, and it's a dark romance, but it's
Sold.
Yeah. But it's like Twilight Zone meets Final Destination meets Groundhog's Day, but make it Great Gatsby.
Sold.
Yeah. So there's a death cycle in it, so that's why it's Dressed in Death, but it's set in the 1930s in a hotel. So when the main character dies, she always comes back to the same. She's in bound, hands behind her back, feet bound, gagged, wedding veil, wedding dress, in an elevator every time. That's how she wakes up.
Oh my god.
So like in the first several chapters, she dies multiple times and has like just trying to get out of this elevator.
So this book is coming out tomorrow, right?
Actually, I'm writing it currently, which I've already plotted, and I've outlined, so I'm in the writing stage, which means within the next couple of weeks it'll be done. So, and then I think I'm going to release it early September.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited about it too. Like the whole death cycle loop is pretty cool. And I'll tell you guys something off camera.
Okay.
About,
all right. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. You can't be like us.
It's one of those things that I will never tell anybody, like unless I'm just like in conversation with them.
Okay.
And because I want to see if anybody makes the connection.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Sorry, guys. If you can go back to Amber in 2023 when writing Prince of Darkness in 18 days, what advice would you give yourself?
This is not going to be your best.
Okay.
Everyone's going to get better. Every single one is going to get better. So like do it, put it out, be proud of it, but don't expect it to be your what is it, like magnum opus or whatever.
Mhm.
Like it's not going to be.
Yeah.
But it is forever going to be your first baby. You know, so
It'll always have a special place in your heart.
100%.
I love that.
So
That's beautiful.
How will you get better if you don't just challenge yourself and put it out there and
yeah.
do it?
hmm
Things will
Exactly.
improve.
You also don't want to start out perfect, right?
No,
Because there's like
there's nowhere to go.
there's nowhere to
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
yeah.
You'd rather start at rock bottom and then make your way up because at least you know, like, okay, I can only go up from here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah. And I'm sure you've seen that as the stories have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially this series, there's a big growth, even just from the first book to the first novella. There's a big growth, and that was bound to happen. You know, like anything, the first one you do, you're figuring all the things out. The second one, you're like applying what you've learned, and by the third one, you're like, okay, I think I'm getting this down.
You're getting
And then from there, you just grow and like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
Well, we've kind of talked about like what message, what takeaways already are from like your dark romance and your Prince of Darkness. Is there anything else or any message that we haven't spoke about already that you would want your authors to take away from when reading either the fantasy book or the dark romance or both?
I don't know. I mean, literally, I do work a lot of mental health things in. Just we all have our things,
Yeah.
and so I feel like that's like if you can make somebody feel seen,
Mm-hmm.
So that's really I don't know. That's really it, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
it. Well, that's a big thing. It's
Yeah.
it's not just like this. It's a big thing. Mental health it needs to be talked about more. And
I mean, even Queen of Light has like addiction in it,
Mhm.
so which was interesting to write because like I've never had that problem, but like I know people who have, and
Mhm.
and so I don't know, and like I actually Queen of Light specifically, I got a lot of emails, messages back from readers who have experienced a similar relationship with somebody who was an addict, and they were happy to see a realistic, happy thing come from it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's something that's relatable and
mhm.
yeah, that's an important topic.
I definitely try to stay away from the like magically fixing things, even in magic worlds, because
You can't do it in
you
real
can't
life.
do it. Yeah, and there shouldn't be a magic fix. You have to learn from your mistakes and
I love
grow. So
that's super important and I love that. I love that you incorporate that.
thanks.
All right, well, one last question here.
Uh-huh.
If you can give one piece of advice to aspiring authors,
Uh-huh.
what would you get? What would you say?
Write it straight through.
Straight through.
I
No
mean, you
edits.
can plan, you can plot, you can do all that, but a lot of new authors make the mistake of writing like a few chapters and then going back and looking at those few chapters. And you can edit, like you can like never stop editing. Really, a book can be edited 75 billion times and still need something, right? So at some point, you just have to be like good enough. But like if you don't, especially for that first one, if you don't take the opportunity and just write it straight through, like you will get stuck in that never ending loop of
Yeah.
like, editing and rewriting and
And you
everything.
can't edit something that doesn't exist, right?
I have a group of authors, right? And we all have various like lengths of time. Some people are working on their very first book. And so we always tell them like, if there's like a change that needs to happen that you notice halfway through, write it down. And then when you go back through, that's when we call it surgery. You have to perform surgery on your first manuscript, and like that's when you go and you add all the things and you move things around. And so don't worry about edits until you've got the first one done. The first one is you telling yourself the story. And then after that, it's like you telling other people the story. So
Well, the first draft, I feel like you're the only one that reads it, right?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my best friend also reads it, but whatever.
Well, yeah. You and maybe like a couple of people in your close circle.
Yeah.
But all right, awesome. Well, Amber, this has been such a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for doing this with
This
us.
has been great. I've loved it.
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad we met at Million Lives.
I know. Listen,
Good things came from
good
it.
things. That's what good things came from it. That's
The two of us
Yeah.
got great things out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Here's another little piece of advice, I guess, to new authors. If
Yeah.
you're going to a signing, pay attention to like their advertising. Do they have a headliner? How many tickets have sold? If you pay attention to all those, you can bring what's necessary. So like I broke even. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I got to hang out with my girlfriends. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like you got some good things out of it.
And I met you guys.
Yes, yes.
It was like that was actually the good part about it is it wasn't so busy, so you could literally talk to everybody
Yes,
and like
yeah.
make a lot of connections and everything. So it was fun.
Yeah.
You can find good in everything.
There's always a line here.
Totally.
There's
And I
always
prefer that's what I prefer to look at.
Yes.
And I try not to like badmouth anything. So
Yeah. No, listen, focus on the good
yep.
because there was good. So
Well, and I'm never perfect, so I don't want to be the person that's like,
yeah,
you know, if
yeah,
I ever messed up majorly, I wouldn't want people coming at me either. So
that makes sense.
yeah.
No, of course. For our viewers and our listeners here, where can they go to support you, find your books, and
Everything is available on Amazon, and everything is also on Kindle Unlimited. I try to be as user friendly as possible. And if you want to support me, the best way to do it is to go to authorambertoma.com, and I have my own bookstore there, and you can buy everything directly from me. But just reading my book is great.
read her books? They're so good.
Thanks you. It's author Amber Toma on all of them. So
And to everyone watching, thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Tales in Focus. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the goods at TBR.trio. And yeah, you can follow us on Instagram to keep up to date with content, behind the scenes, author events, and interviews that we're going to. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time to find out what tales TBR tells.